Good afternoon, everyone. It's Paula Van Gilder with Talk with Paula. As everybody knows, I am a huge advocate for mental health and addiction. May is going to be our mental health awareness. I do have two visitors that will be here next month. One being Leah Blades. She's from Middlebury, Vermont. She runs the homeless service coordinator for HOPE, which is helping overcome poverty and effects, as well as our new chief, Sergeant Warfel, who will be our new Chief Warfel, and he also is part of my group, Neighbors Together. Without further anything else, I do want to thank our two guests we have today, which I'm really happy with. We have Alexis Palmer and we have Kayla Bapp. They are both with Springfield Area Parent-Child Center. Kayla is the PCC event coordinator, Parent-Child Center coordinator, and Alexis is your early intervention specialist. I'm going to let them more go into detail about some things. I was excited when I found out about this group because I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm sure a few others have this in mind. I didn't realize Springfield Area Parent-Child Center just was all over. I thought literally it was Springfield. That was my thought. Alexis, I'm blessed with. She's also a neighbor. Great girl. Fantastic girl. She said, no. That's where a lot of people don't understand. We are really broad and everywhere. So Bridget and I had the pleasure of chatting with Alexis and her partner. I forgot her name.
Krista.
I loved her. Great girl. And they really gave into detail what you do. And I said, I definitely need them to come on Talk with Paula because I know for a fact how many could really use their services and they offer so much. So I figured, you know what? I'm going to let them take the show. So here you go, girls. So.
Here we go. So, thanks so much for having us.
Sure.
We really appreciate it. And yeah, Krista and I have been working on outreach to make sure that everybody kind of knows how far the SAPCC reaches. A good kind of general idea is at least 30 minutes any direction other than over the border to New Hampshire is where we cover.
Do you see my map?
Yeah. So, yep, that's the map. So it's all of the southern portion of Windsor County and then the northern little sliver of Windham County. Okay. So anybody who resides within those catchment areas is welcome to utilize the SAPCC services.
And let me tell you, they have a ton.
We do have a ton. So there's kind of two main halves to Springfield Area Parent-Child Center. There's the Parent-Child Center services, and then there's what's called Children's Integrated Services. So Kayla happens to be our expert on all things Parent-Child Center related. So I'll let you kind of talk first about the Parent-Child Center services.
Okay. So I just want to talk about like the towns that we serve a little bit first. So when you really break it down, there are close to 20 towns that we serve because some of our programs, like our Dulce program that we'll talk about in just a second, tend to serve people outside of our catchment area. We serve people from Charlestown, New Hampshire, Claremont, New Hampshire as well in those programs too. So it does branch out a little bit more than what all of the papers say as well too. So I am the Parent-Child Center coordinator, which is really broad. That basically means that I touch just about every part of the Parent-Child Center in one way or another. So one of the programs that I coordinate is our Parent Ed and Family Engagement. So that is all of our like parent ed classes. So we do some about how to talk so kids will listen. That's a book series that is really common. It's really, really wonderful. We are actually starting one of those classes for how to talk tomorrow. We have a class every Tuesday morning from 10 to 11:30. There is always a different theme. We've done gross motor, we've done family mental health, we've done a few just fun things. We've done a little bit more like developmental themes and whatnot. So that changes just about every Tuesday. And a couple of them happen to go a couple of weeks, like our How to Talk classes and our Circle of Security. And then we have our play groups, which we have multiple that we offer. So we have one that is every Monday morning, and that has happened for at least the last 10 years, every morning from 10 to 11:30. Right now we are at our center in North Springfield. The address is 50 Jack and Jill Lane. And again, that's from 10 to 11:30. And then we have one on Fridays, every Friday, and that is in Windsor at the Windsor Connection Resource Center, 1 Railroad Avenue. Again, 10 to 11:30. Our playgroups tend to be more in the morning because those are the times that families have asked for them. We have tried to do a couple of evening ones, and we've done a couple of Saturday ones as well. And then a big one that we have is our traveling playgroup, which we call Adventure Together. It is personally my favorite program that I run at the center. And the goal of that program is to break every barrier possible. So what we provide as the Parent-Child Center is we plan all of these different trips throughout the entire summer. Every Thursday, we go to a either different location or a different nature area. And we've gone to places like Vins, we've gone to Billings Farms, we've traveled to Wonderfeet. Every year we go to a Vermont State Park and we have a big summer blowout with that. And we provide admission for all of the family members to attend, lunch for every single family member that attends, and gas cards for the families. So we try to break all barriers possible. This was a program that we adapted and kind of expanded from somebody that used to work with us very closely, Molly Oglesby. And it was just a very small program that she started, and we kind of blew it up and made it into a summer camp program.
That is awesome.
So it's really amazing. When I first started it, I was like, okay, we're gonna have 5 to 10 families. It is not even close to that. We have 60 to 80 families and sometimes over 100 participants each week. So it's really such an incredible program. We've been running it for 4 years now. We're about to start our 5th year, and I'm so excited.
No, I am. I got goosebumps. I'm like, oh my God, I'm trying to not have a moment. I'm like, that is awesome. I didn't know you did that either.
Yeah, so that one, it's a really easy sign up. We just do a quick Google form or a quick email, and we sign them up. We ask about allergies, that kind of thing, and we try to make accommodations for everybody. So.
And if you don't have internet access, you can always call as well.
Yeah, so, and that's how it is for all of our programs. We try to create an online registration version of it, and then there's always the option of calling in or checking in with your CIS caseworker or your Playworks teacher or whatnot downstairs. So those are our 3 main playgroups that we have currently, but we support a lot of playgroups around the area. In that packet you'll see there is an entire list of weekly and monthly playgroups that happen all around the region. Yeah. So there are some that go all the way up to Woodstock, to White River, and they're all different hosts and all different organizations that hold them, but they're all really wonderful organizations like Waypoint and TLC over in Claremont, Mount Escutney, that kind of thing. So there's always something offered. Over here in Ludlow, every Tuesday, there is a playgroup at your local library at the Fletcher Memorial Library from 10:30 to 12. And that's with Miss Sasha, the youth children's librarian. And she's wonderful. Snack is provided. There are activities. There's a nice little area downstairs for the kiddos to play in. That are away from the large crowds upstairs that they may end up having.
That's awesome. I didn't know
Right.
everything.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, oh no, you need to explain everything you do.
There's a lot.
And then we have our Playworks Child Care Center that is downstairs. So that is a child care center for children 6 weeks to 6 years. And we have very fresh babies. We have a couple of babies that are just 6 weeks old. And then we have children all the way up until 6. We've had a couple of kiddos that we've had stay and do extra years of preschool. But we offer the 10 free hours of pre-K that the state offers. So any licensed childcare center with a pre-K coordinator, with a licensed pre-K teacher, can get the ability to give 10 free hours of childcare to children in the state. So that can look like often that looks like parents tend to use like the morning time, because that's usually when curriculum time happens. So the kiddos come from 8:30 to lunchtime, which is around 11:30, and they do that for about 3 days a week. But really parents can decide however they want to break up that 10 hours. We do have a significant wait list for our childcare center right now, unfortunately. A lot of childcare centers in our area do, but if you call our center and you ask to speak to Brenda, she has a list of local childcare centers in the area that are or potentially are accepting children, and she'll have it for each age group as well. So you can contact her and she can give you a list of those organizations and their numbers and how to contact them. So I know our wait list is a little bit longer, but and we always suggest to people to call as soon as you find out you're pregnant, or if you are planning to be pregnant, to call and get your name on the wait list, because the sooner that you are on the wait list, the sooner the name will get brought to the top.
Yeah, that's awesome. I didn't realize, again, everything you offered. I'm like, oh, wow.
The lovely thing about our preschool too is it runs throughout the summer as well. So it's a year-round program. The entire childcare is. It gets a little tricky with the 10 free hours, because that's a whole other thing, an initiative throughout the state. But as a preschool, we do run year-round and are considered a partner program for those 10 free hours. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And we accept child care financial assistance and that kind of thing.
Do they still do that?
Yes.
I didn't know. I thought that was like long gone.
No, it's actually much better now than it was.
Really?
Yeah.
Within the last year or so, actually within the last
I like to hear that.
few months, they have expanded the eligibility, so you can make more, which in reality nobody's really making enough, but you can make more within each household and be able to still get some sort of
Subsidy.
yes.
Nice.
And the nice thing is the Springfield Area Parent-Child Center has on staff child care financial assistance folks to process your application, to help you fill out the application, the whole process through. They're right on staff, right in our center, so you can always call, you can stop in to chat with them, so that you can get some help accessing that.
Which is so good, because many know that when I talk to people, forms.
It can be really hard.
It's so overwhelming,
Absolutely.
especially if you're in a funk.
Absolutely.
If you're in a funk, the last thing that you want to be doing is filling out forms. Again, you just make me happy.
Yeah.
Because I remember way too clearly, when my kids were little, I worked in an operating room, but I was like, I really want to find childcare. You make a certain, and that was back in the early 90s. So it's like to know that you have more opportunities. That's huge.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's huge.
Yeah. Our child care financial assistance program specialists are always happy to help with that process.
Yeah, this is huge.
Yeah.
So this alone. So I'm excited to keep going. Sorry.
Okay, and then we have our Dulce program, which I have to read off exactly what this is, but it is the developmental understanding and legal collaboration for everyone. So it provides resources and support to families with newborns to age 1 at Mount Escutney Pediatrics. So this is the one where we really start to branch out to having families outside of the state into New Hampshire, because any family that is in the Mount Escutney Pediatrics with a newborn, from newborn to 6 months, sometimes extenuating circumstances, they go to a year, They will be matched with our Dulce program manager or program case manager, and her name is Sarah Zerfis. She is wonderful, and what she does is she goes into all of your pediatric visits with you, and she's really just there to be extra support. She's there to help answer those weird questions that you may not be comfortable asking your doctor. She is a registered nurse herself, so she does know the answers to these questions if like you are a little uncomfortable, and she's there to provide all of these services that like we have here. So like our diaper bank, our formula bank, she can bring those things to you, deliver them directly to you, come into your home, have those interactions with you there.
I mean, I'm sitting here listening to you, and I'm thinking about 3 people that have reached out. Like I was sharing before with you, not knowing what you offered. I mean, I sent one woman like to a church, or the church came here and delivered. When it comes to postpartum, women don't have a very hard time. You're feeling like you're going crazy. I went through postpartum. Yeah. Not a good time.
Absolutely.
And that was back when things were a lot different back in the early 90s. You know, by my second baby, I was like, Zoloft me up, I'm good. But the thing is, with my first, I was like, I was a mess.
Yeah.
And you don't want to talk about it. I worked in the operating room. The last thing I was going to be discussing is, God, I'm freaking out here.
Yep.
And to know, that's why I am so open about so many things, because one, it's nothing to be ashamed of. And you're doing the best thing for your baby.
Right.
You know, when sorry, because I could flap about stuff, but this is huge to me. This is where I'm going to get mileage on this, because I just reached out to Alexis the other day. When there's people struggling, I'm like, whoa, sent her some messages, and I was like, well, this is huge.
Yeah.
And it becomes safety issues too.
And mental health is really scary, and asking for help is really scary.
Well, because of the stigma.
And so, like, especially what Alexis and Krista are really trying to focus on with this outreach is getting our name out there and our faces out there, so people realize that like we're not scary. We're everyday people. We're aunts, we're uncles, we're moms, we're grandparents. Like we all have our own reasonings and beings for being in this field.
And that's what people need.
Right.
Yeah.
People need a visual. They need to see not the sterile image.
Absolutely.
When I started talking, you just nailed it. You literally just nailed it. When I started this, thanks guys to Lokemo Valley TV, talking about mental health and addiction, I was like, I told my husband, he works at the PD, and I said, Dave, this is what I'm going to do. I'm ready to go balls to the wall. Because on the outside, I looked like that girl that had it all going on.
Yeah.
Like nobody knew about my shit because you didn't talk about it.
Right.
Because how people are. And then finally I was like, I don't give a rat's ass. And got right out there, and from that, and I repeat it to them all the time, I've had more doors than windows open, but I've also helped a shit ton of people. And then I've had friends from high school, we meet once a year, they're like, why didn't you ever tell us that, oh yeah, I'm gonna go calling you, I'm in an extremely abusive relationship.
Yeah.
How about y'all? Are you kidding me? You don't talk about stuff. Now I'm like, let it out, people. So anyways, thank you. Just saying.
So then we have our concrete supports. So that is our diaper bank, our formula bank, and our community clothing closet, which we call Tiana's Closet. So if you have not been to our center, when you come into our front office, you will meet a lovely woman named Tiana. She has been at our center for 29 years, I believe.
Oh, wow.
Just about she's been in every building that we have ever had, all the way back from when we were on Myrtle Street in Springfield. And so we really felt like we needed to honor her and all of the work that she has done and put into our center. Yeah. So we named our free clothing closet after her. So eventually, we don't know when, but hopefully within the next few years down the road, this will be a thrift store. So it will be much more than just a clothing closet. We'll have a little bit more than that and be a lot bigger.
That's awesome.
But right now it is located in our main building at 80 Jack and Jill Lane in North Springfield. And it is completely free. So we have clothing for children preemie all the way up, and adults small all the way up to, I believe, 5X. So we have a very large inventory.
Now, do you
and
open
guys.
that, big girls and guys.
Yes.
Do you open that to everybody, or specifically you have to be Springfield?
Nope, it's for everybody. So
Well,
even
see, again,
if
nobody knows that, see?
even if you are outside of our service area, it's 100% free.
Yeah.
So there used to be a clothing closet in Springfield that was done by one of the churches, and they unfortunately didn't have the capacity to take it on anymore. So we were in the process of getting ready to figure out what we were doing with Tiana's Closet. So they donated all of their clothing materials, all of their shelving, all of their clothing racks,
wow.
all of that to us. So we really didn't have to do anything to get it started. It was basically all them. And then we reached out to the community and we were like, hey, we really need this, 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 and this. And they delivered, like absolutely delivered.
And our lovely friend Krista does an amazing job keeping it
Yes.
so organized,
sure.
and
She
just
is
incredible.
Yeah. Cool.
She is wonderful. We so it's free. We do just ask that people right now, because Krista is the main person that kind of takes care of Tiana's Closet, that they just call and make an appointment with us just to make sure, because we don't want to have like a family in there that do not want other families to know that they're struggling.
Absolutely. That is so beautiful.
So we really just want to make sure that everybody has the chance to shop by themselves, because it really is set up like a store. Like there's bags for you to fill. You can have as much as you want, take as much as you need. There's shoes, there's jackets, there's socks, there's
all of it.
Everything.
Again, I'm gonna have a moment. Well, you just hit something else.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest, without mentioning names, you just hit something that oh my God, speaks volumes like you have no idea without saying names. Some agencies make you feel very uncomfortable. I have heard that numerous times.
Absolutely.
From certain agencies. They're like, Paula, I don't want to go in there and get help. I don't want to go in there and look for food or look for clothing, because they feel like they're being looked down upon
Absolutely.
or judged, or because it's right out in the open
Right.
that people are doing this. And that's hard. So to know you do this, tell me where I can send people to go, to donate to you guys too.
Yeah, and what's really
So-
wonderful about the location of where our current Tiana's Closet is, it's right in the main building. It's down a back hallway in its own space. So like if there are other people coming into the building, nobody
Nobody's
knows that
gonna-
you're there. In the room right next to it, we have our food bank that we have available as well. So if families are there and we're talking with them and we find that like they're struggling to get food, we can also fill them up in the food bank. And before they leave, we can check in with them to make sure that they don't need diapers or wipes or formula, because we have all of that at the front desk. So it was really just a way to kind of get everything all together at once.
Jesus,
So.
it's a mess.
In for Tiana's Closet, we also every season do an open house. So it is open for the entire day, typically from around like 9 o'clock in the morning until like 6 o'clock at night. And families can show up whenever they are available to. We do it usually for 2 weeks in a row. And during back to school, we did a back to school night where DCF donated a bunch of school bags that were filled with all of the materials. We had a bunch of like notebooks and pencils and pens and all of that donated. And we gave out over 700 pieces of clothing at just the back to school event. So
Wow.
it's a very much
That's
needed
beautiful.
thing in our community, but it's still really new to us, like in our organization having it. So a lot of people don't know that we have it.
Yeah.
So it's often like our CIS team, like telling families as they are meeting new families, like, hey, we have this. And Krista and I talking with families at playgroup and that kind of thing. but we really like anybody. It's open to anybody to come and grab whatever you need, take as much as you need.
Well, I can promise you
We'll be
I'm
doing
gonna
a-
share
She's gonna be
this
sending
like
it everybody.
nobody's-
We'll be doing
Well,
it.
this is why this outreach is so important to us,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly.
The CIS team, the play groups, we can only reach so many people, and
Yeah.
we want to make sure that we're reaching as broad an audience as possible
you're gonna
because
go broad.
this help is needed everywhere. It's not just where we're able to
Yeah.
reach, right? So, yeah.
No, this is beautiful. And again, I didn't realize all this.
And often
so.
if they call, like somebody can call and like say that they're from Claremont, and they're asking for diapers. That one might be a little bit harder for us to be able to like give out diapers to unless they are involved in one of our other programs. But we know who to connect them to.
Yep.
So we can go, okay, well, we can't help you, but TLC can, because
Sure.
TLC over in Claremont has diapers and they can give them to you or whatnot.
Okay.
If there are transportation issues for families in Bellows Falls, there are places like Parks Place that has a diaper bank. It's just much smaller than ours.
Right.
Over in Windsor, they have a diaper hub that it's actually ours, but they house diapers for us at the resource center and give out diapers to families in Windsor. So that way we kind of get a little bit more families over there.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Being
so.
a center point for research, resource distribution is also really important part of any parent-child center. We are meant to be that place where you can call, and we hope that you feel comfortable enough to call and ask, hey, I need help with housing. Hey, I need help accessing diapers. Hey, any of those kinds of questions.
Yeah.
We know where to connect you to, and we
Right.
want to be able to give you those resources.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
Because it's needed. And yeah, it's definitely needed.
Yeah.
So our diaper bank, you can get free diapers every week. It's a package of diapers every week. It's typically around 25 to 35 diapers. And then a package of wipes every week as long as supplies last, because it is a completely donation-based program. We just got a really nice donation from the Springfield Lions Club. So we do have a bit of supply right now. And then same thing with our formula bank. You can get 1 can of formula per week per child, and it's all completely free. And like it has nothing to do with your income. We don't care. We don't ask. The only questions that we ask is your town of residence, how many children are in the home, and how many adults are in the home, and that's it. Like
And your answers don't affect
Right.
your
It
access.
it's not going to change
Yeah.
anything. If you have twins, then you get 2 packages of diapers, that kind of thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then finally for the Parent-Child Center services is we have our Welcome Baby Bag and our Activity Bag program. So I did bring one of the Welcome
like,
Baby
yes.
bags with me.
Yes.
So our Welcome Baby Bag program is all coordinated by our wonderful baby bag coordinator, Celeste. She has been at the center for many years. She used to run play groups with me. And most of our Welcome Baby Bag stuff is all donation based. A lot of it is homemade by local sewing groups. So this is one of the things that is handmade. It is a handmade quilt.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So there are often things like this in all of the bags.
The Welcome Baby Bag is how I was introduced to SAPCC when I had my
little
son.
like fabric blocks. My grandmother-in-law is actually the one that makes these and donates them. She has been donating them for I think like 10 years now.
That's awesome.
But a lot of the materials, there's always at least one thing that is handmade in them. And then there is always there are brand new
Clothing.
outfits and
This is fun.
PJs. There
I
are
didn't have that when I was.
there are
stuck in babies.
diapers, there are brand new books for you, there are resources, there are things for mom as well, like there are some lotions, some different guides and resources, some little toys and bibs and booties and hats and toothbrushes and that kind of thing. And those, again...
And diapers and stuff.
And diapers. This is a 110% free program as well. It's all the same questions. We don't ask about your income. If you have had a child within the last year, because they go up from birth to a year, you can just call, and if you're in the area, if you don't have transportation, Celeste will deliver it right to you. She loves doing that, so if that's what you would prefer, she would love to do it. Or you can come to the center and pick one up. She always has a few available at the center, so if you're passing by and you're like, oh, let me stop in really fast, then there's always ones available. So we have those as well. Is there anything else?
Imagination Library and
yes.
Little Free Library.
Yes.
Last of all, right?
And then also our activity bag program is that is another one of my programs. So that is basically exactly what it sounds like. It is a bag that is full of activities. So they're usually themed. We have our Week of the Young Child Family Festival this Saturday from 9 to noon, if anybody's interested coming, at Riverside. And the bags are bug themed. So we are, in each bag there are kits to make your own bug house. There are sensory materials in them. There are activity packets, coloring pages. There are magnifying glasses. There are little tattoos. There are stickers. There are colored pencils. It's really just a lot of activity material for you to bring home and be able to put together an activity with your kiddo. So they are gauged for children 2 and up. Usually around 12 years old is where we tend to cap those, just based off of the materials that are in them. But yeah, those ones.
That's awesome.
We have those, and a different version of those is our dental bags, which is basically the exact same thing, but they are dental themed bags. And in the bags there are kits from Montshire Pediatric Dentistry in Claremont that have toothbrushes, floss, toothpaste in them. And then also in the bags there are reusable rinse cups, the little tooth saver necklaces, activity kits based off of dental hygiene. And when I met with WIC, when I was planning this program, one of the things that they suggested was children have a really hard time with the sensory aspect of brushing your teeth. That can be really overwhelming, having something in your mouth. It can taste weird. So to have some sort of sensory material in that for the children to be occupied with their hands while their parents are brushing their teeth. So we put little tiny things of Play-Doh in them, and the kids can roll the Play-Doh around while their parents brush their teeth.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is so awesome.
And then we have our Dolly Parton Imagination Library program. So we are partnered with the Dolly Parton Imagination Library, and what that is a free book giving program for children birth to age 5. And any children within our service region, with the exception of Ludlow, because of Ludlow Rotary is your local Dolly Parton Imagination affiliate. You can go online and sign up your child to get a free book monthly. So it gets delivered directly to your house. You sign up once. If you move, then you just let us know and we can change your address and it will start sending right to you. But they come until their very 5th birthday. And there's no cost to you. We, at the Parent Child Center, with the Dolly Parton Imagination Library, cover all of those costs for you. So these are some of the books that you may end up seeing. There are often books in other languages. If you do speak a different language, you can put that on your application and they will send you the books in the other languages as well. So we have board books for our younger audience, and then as they get to a little bit older, they tend to have a little bit more of picture book kind of style. And then these ones are more for our 5-year-old kiddos. But they're all really great authors. This one is Eric Carle. If you know the regular Very Hungry Caterpillar, that's one of the versions of his books. They're really wonderful authors, really wonderful books. And there's really no hassle to you. You just go right online and you type in your zip code at dollypartonimaginationlibrary.org, and it will bring us right up. You fill out the quick application, and then you just submit it, and it's pretty much done and over with. And then if you have children that are older than 5 years old, we have a free little library at the center, so it's right in the main office. You just ask to come in, let them know what you are here for, and it is a miniature library. It's a pretty medium-sized bookshelf that is full of books. From there are board books for newborns all the way up to, we have like basic chapter books, so really like children, early reading. And it's completely free. You can either borrow the book and bring it back, you can take it and keep it, you can donate books, but it's a completely free program, and you can go online to the freelittlelibrary.org and type in your zip code, and it will bring up all of the local free little libraries in your area. So there are often, people tend to have little versions of them on like the sides of the road. You'll see a lot of them like in Springfield. Sometimes they are filled with different things like food. There are some food options. Bright Beginnings Childcare in Springfield has one as well, and they have a library, and then they also have a food version of it as well too.
That's awesome. Wow, you just gave a ton of stuff, but my brain's like, so I'm gonna let Alexis say hers, and then I have a ton of things to ask you after.
Of course.
So that's what I'm making myself
doesn't
notes.
sound as like grand and fabulous.
That sounds
as
amazing.
Kayla's does.
I'm just like this going.
So the other half of the Parent-Child Center, we consider ourselves very fortunate that our Parent-Child Center also houses our region's children's integrated services, which is a broad range of different services available. Depending on the service, it's from birth to age 6, with the exception of like a couple where it's 3. But it's wonderful. We consider ourselves very lucky because oftentimes they're kind of separated organizations, whereas together, the CIS team is able to connect with the PCC half of things and really keep things fluid. And so what is Children's Integrated Services? Well, Children's Integrated Services is often well known for early intervention. So that's the birth to 3, that's one of our exceptions, program that I am a part of. So I myself am a developmental educator, and what we do is we do home visiting, or we visit, child cares. We can have you come in to our center, whatever feels most comfortable. And really it's meant for children who have medical conditions, suspected developmental delays, any of those kinds of things. And so it's really meant as a precursor to like any sort of early childhood special education program, which we help you transition to if need be. But it's meant to be an early intervention in hopes that we can kind of help support the family through whatever process that might be, whether it be kind of helping the kiddo catch up, which I don't like that term, but catch up developmentally, or work through the process of dealing with medical diagnoses, getting them enrolled in early childhood special education and those kinds of things. CIS also offers family support. So we have a family support caseworker who is amazing. She knows everything under the sun, I swear. And she really helps parents understand child development, access resources. Again, if you're needing help filling out those forms, like accessing WIC, accessing Reach Up, accessing any housing questions, anything like that, family support can be a huge help with that.
She can also help with like transportation and stuff.
Yes.
They've brought families, or she's brought families to play groups, doctor's appointments, parent ed, that kind of thing.
Yeah, Robbie is amazing. She does everything. Any support that you really need, Robbie can really
Helping with
really help with.
budgeting,
Yeah.
like anything really.
Nice.
We also have, as Kayla earlier mentioned, Brenda, who knows all things childcare. So Brenda is our specialized childcare and childcare support services worker.
It's a mouthful.
The title, yeah. And so really this is supporting the children and their caregivers on accessing individualized childcare. So perhaps your child has a medical condition that requires very specialized childcare. Brenda can help with that. Accessing summer camps, before and after school care. And that program actually goes up to age 12. I think, Paula, one of your favorite things to hear that we have is mental health services. So
Well, I see so many that suffer, and then what I'm seeing now, and I shared with you, people are falling through the cracks, especially the littles, because there's not enough providers.
Oh, there's not.
So I'm seeing adults and little ones, and I'm sitting here going, and like I said, I am very grateful the connection I have with one of an old coworker that is like, the chief up in Medicaid, but it's like, if I need stuff, I know I can, kind of, but I'm like, it'd be nice if saying, hey, locally, you also need to check out this.
Yeah.
Because people don't know that.
So at the Parent-Child Center, we have what's called the HEART program. And the HEART program is designed for those new parents who have experienced infant loss, pregnancy loss, postpartum depression and anxiety, any of those kinds of mental health concerns that revolve around that first really around year, pre and postpartum. The HEART program is there to support you
Awesome.
with.
Yeah.
And we also collaborate with our designated agency, HCRS, to have housed within us one of their mental health clinicians for early childhood and family mental health services.
Okay.
And so this is another program that's from birth to 6 years old, and it is designed to provide that mental health support for the family. So it's a program that's designed if your child is having like behavioral concerns, showing depression, anxiety, any of those kinds of mental health support needs. It's about not only addressing that with the child, but the family and their caregivers as well. So as a family unit, you can work through that and gain support.
That's awesome.
So that mental health clinician is housed with us. She is from HCRS, but is a part of our CIS group, which is really, really nice to have her right on with us. We also have responsive and sustained nursing. So something that's a really commonly accessed resource that we have is lactation support. We have a nurse on staff with us who knows all things lactation, which can be immensely helpful.
Yeah, especially when you have an issue with it.
Yeah, I mean, it can be a really hard process.
Very stressful.
And having someone who is, again, a home visitor can come to you in the comfort of your own home because you're talking about very private things, maybe showing off things that you don't want others to see.
I was about to say that. Like, getting your poop out, and I'm like, you know what, Paula, maybe you just didn't say that. But you're like, oh.
But we recognize that, which is why the CIS team is all home visitors.
Right.
So we are able to come to you so that transportation isn't a barrier, comfort isn't a barrier, what have you. We really want to eliminate as much of that as possible so that you're comfortable and willing and able to access those services. We also work closely with Strong Families Vermont, so they have responsive nurses as well. And there's, the Parents as Teachers program.
Right.
All home visitors, all helping with that.
And that's what people
early
want.
childhood.
A lot of, especially if you're hitting your personal, especially if you're in a crisis situation or a stressful situation. I always say, especially with what I do, I always say sometimes reaching out isn't easy. You got to reach in.
Yeah.
So that's some other questions I have, because people, I know, I can give your name, but also to reach in.
Yeah.
And is this available? giving a hypothetical. Say, for instance, somebody came in, like a parent has custody, partial custody, like he'll see his kids in the summer. But you're looking at 25 things going, wow, they could really utilize all this.
Yeah.
Is this open to a situation like that? Or is it more just if you live in these? Okay.
Not necessarily. Where that can get a little bit tricky is with the state-run programs, like CIS programs.
Sure.
So like for early intervention, for example, if we definitely have worked with families where there's like a 50-50 custody case.
Sure.
So it does get a little bit challenging in
Right.
there just because these state programs really do rely on your primary place of residency. Just because there are other CIS groups, right? And so we're all trying not to step on each other's toes.
No, I understand
and
that.
all of that.
Yeah. But
So it can get a little bit challenging, but we often, in those kinds of situations, what we do is we work with the family and what they're looking for, and with any other agencies that might be involved as well to
Okay.
kind of make sure that that time is split. But ultimately, our biggest priority is to make sure that the child is receiving whatever service it is that they need.
Okay, that's
Right.
fair enough. Because I'm looking at a situation like I know some grandparents, and that could use services, especially when the grandchild's around because of certain situations. And I know so many of your services, children, but one of them I'm thinking really could benefit because you do offer. And right off, actually, I was talking last night. I'm like, a summer camp, getting involved in things, working on stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's a very tough situation and it's hard because
Right.
like I said, I would have never known why I'm so grateful for both of you. I didn't know all these resources were
Yeah.
there.
A lot of people
This
don't.
is where I am so excited because I am going to get mileage on this because I feel more need. So don't be surprised if more people call you guys
We
and
hope
say, "Can you please explain
Yeah,
what you
that's
do?"
the goal.
I mean, my brain when I was thinking of this, I went like 5 different places. I'm like, wow, this person really needs to know about this, and I need more
Yeah.
packets, and I'm excited. So excited for everything that you. I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you. Were
Not
you
at
still-
all.
okay.
No,
No.
you're good.
Because I'm sitting here thinking, I was jotting down notes, like just so many things. I'm like, with the adults, I love the idea that I in my head, I'm writing all these notes. I'm like, wow, I could use some underwear for a child that I know.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, play groups doing this, and Robbie, love whoever you are, you're a great person. You sound fantastic. That's where I was, looking at the
Yeah.
out-of-state thing for summer camp.
Yeah.
You offer so much that nobody knows.
Yeah.
And I really want you guys to get out there.
The only barrier that might be for like the thing that you were talking about with like grandparents is like for like the child to receive services in regards to like CIS, it would have to be the legal guardian.
Which is
but
which is the dad. I mean, they share a 50-50. But
Right.
Yeah. And so in those cases, we definitely can. And if there's ever any questions, we are meant to be, we are service coordination as well. So the amazing Sarah Rose is our service coordinator among everything else CIS. And so ultimately what we always tell families is when in doubt, anybody can make a CIS referral.
Sure.
You can refer yourself. You don't have to wait for a doctor to do it. You don't have to wait for anything like that.
Right.
You can refer your own family. When in doubt,
Call. You
Call.
just, right.
make refer yourself.
Yeah.
Or just call and ask those questions. And we want to make sure, we would rather you call and have us help you figure out how to access that service, and if we can't, we will always send you,
which is great.
to
Reach out.
where somebody can. Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking at this, and I'm going to share this again. This is something. Sorry.
No, you're okay.
I know mamas right now. When I took a peek in here, I'm like, this is beautiful. And I know so many mamas, new mamas, that have gone through some tough things. Being a new mommy, I don't care if it's your first or your fourth, you're still having struggles. This is a beautiful, beautiful thing.
And
it makes people happy.
Absolutely.
That's why I do something called sunshine baskets or happy bags. And I've always done. It's not like I go up to somebody and go, God, you look depressed. Here you go. I don't do that.
Right.
But we all need something. I don't care who you are. We all need a good boost.
Absolutely.
And we started doing sunshine baskets. We do the happy bags, but then sunshine baskets, and the sunshine has soup and bread and all that, and it makes a difference when somebody can get that, and you get a message like, oh my God, thank you so much. That's huge.
Right. And if families call and they're asking about like a welcome baby bag, like if they let us know that like they are in need of like some extra clothing or like some food or that kind of stuff, like we can always get those things together for families and either deliver it or like have it at the front desk for them to pick up or put it outside if they aren't comfortable coming in the building.
One thing we talked about with Alexis, Bridget, who does the Neighbors Together with me, she we do a lot with Shaw's. So Shaw's gives us flowers like twice a week.
Yep, they do that with our Mother's Day tea party as well.
No, we do flowers every week.
Oh, wow.
So there's some times I was telling Alexis I would love to just bring you flowers and have you pass them out. And I don't care who you do it with. We do the nursing home and the town and blah, blah, blah. But how cool once every, maybe even if we did it once a month, brought you a bunch of flowers, distribute.
Yeah, absolutely.
To mamas coming in, to care, it feels good to get fresh bouquets.
Yeah, it does.
So we love doing that.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Yeah. Anyways, do you guys have anything more you want to add?
No, I think that's
just
about
the contact.
Yeah.
The contact.
Yeah.
Contact information they will have at the bottom. I want to thank you both for joining me. This was so informative. I know how excited I was learning about everything, and then now really seeing it coming to life is huge. So I will have information at the bottom. We will have Alexis' contact information as well as Kayla's. And feel free to reach out. And again, if you need, even reach out to me, which people do, and I can put you in contact. And again, I want to thank you for joining me with Talk with Paula, Mental Health and Addiction. And again, I am so excited that we were joined today by these two. Do you want to say anything? You're good?
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
We really appreciate you taking the
you.
time and letting us come on here and just spew out all the things about SAPCC.
You do a lot. So I want to thank you so much and have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you.